This is part of a series of short videos showing you how to spot some common problems within your NLP model and how to fix them. In this video, I'm going to show you how to spot a weak concept within an intent and how this can be rectified. So this is a small model built for an upcoming event and has just 27 intents. It's built on Microsoft Lewis, but it could be a model on any other provider because the principles that I'm going to show you will work in the same way. We can see we've got some intents about event agenda, attendees, audience, cost, and various other intents about questions you may ask about an event. So I've run a test in QBox, and as we can see, the overall model scores are 61, 67, 82, and QBox has classed those scores as OK or good. There are a few intents that are rather low scoring, and for this demo we'll focus on the contact us intent. So I've gone straight to advanced view here, and these are the individual correctness, confidence and clarity scores for this intent, and all are pretty low. Let's go down to the bottom and look at the correctness distribution graph. So this intent has 11 utterances, and currently 6 of them are being classed as incorrect, where the returned intents are not the expected ones, and these are the ones that are showing in red on the graph. We'll focus on fixing a couple of these, so let's pin them, and then these will form our focus questions, and we can see them at the top here. So we've also got a few questions that are green but outside our central circle. So this means that QBox has classified these as returning the correct intent but with low confidence. So these may also need to be looked at some point. And we can see these if we jump over to the confidence distribution diagram. If we go onto the clarity diagram, we can see that we've got 6 questions that have got bad clarity, and these will be the ones that we already know are classified as returning incorrect intents. And then we have 1 question with low clarity, so these ones may also need to be looked at once all of our incorrect questions have been fixed. Let's go back to the correctness graph. So the first incorrect question that I've pinned, how can I get in touch? We can see on the graph that it's getting confused by our event directions intent. If we look further into this by either clicking on the question in the pinned area or clicking on show more here, we can see that there are 2 incorrect intents that are influencing the prediction, the event directions and our cannot attend intent. And we can see the first one is 16% confident at this incorrect prediction, and the cannot attend one is 11% confident at the incorrect prediction. We can see the utterances for each of these intents, and you can use the scroll bar to view all of the utterances, and the total utterances for each intent is here. Now QBox highlights each word in our focus question with a different colour, and this helps us to determine why these wrong intents are being favoured over our contact us one. So from the highlighted words, the model is picking up on a few small insignificant words such as how and can and I and get from both of the incorrect intents. And we can also get some further validation of this if we use the explain feature. So I've already hit the perform deep analysis button just for speed. So this shows a chart with each word in the question and how much influence, either negatively shown in red or positively shown in green, that the word has on the prediction. So this confirms the main words influencing the question to return the event directions intent are how and can and get, as they are shown in green and meaning they've got a positive influence on the prediction to that incorrect intent. It also confirms none of the words are having any influence whatsoever to the correct intent. The concept for this question is about asking how to get in touch, and if we go back to the training data tab and look at the utterances for my contact us intent, We can see that there's no similar utterances for this concept to support the question. So we class this as a weak concept, and this will need to be reinforced. So I'll go back to my Lewis model and add a couple more utterances to strengthen this. So I would suggest something like, I want to get in touch, and perhaps, could I get in touch with the team? So hopefully that should fix that question. Let's go back to QBox and to our second incorrect question. What is the email address? So we can see on the graph that it's getting confused with the privacy how intent. Let's look further into this. We can see that it's 20% confident at returning the privacy how intent, and then in second place is my event location intent, and this is 8% confident. From the highlighted words, it's picking up on email and address in the privacy how intent, plus a few of the insignificant words what, is, and the from the event location intent. Going over to the explain tab, this confirms the strongest influences are the words email and address in the incorrect intent. And again, we've got no words that are being influenced in my contact us intent, the correct intent. So email and address occurs more often in this incorrect intent than it does in the correct intent, but it's being used in a different concept here. It's always good to analyse the reason for the incorrect predictions, as this helps to make your fixes. The concept here is asking for the email address, and this is not strong in the contact us intent, as confirmed both in the explain tab and by looking at our training data. So there's no other questions asking this. So again, I'd go back to my Lewis model and suggest adding a couple more phrases just to strengthen. So I need your email address, and give me the email address. So once we've added those questions to Lewis, I can test the model again in QBox. And I've done a test here just for speed. And we can see the test results show all three metrics have increased nicely to 64, 69, 85. So that's a good improvement on the model overall. And don't forget, we've only fixed 2 questions from 1 intent. So you can start seeing positive results fairly quickly. We can see the largest direct change is showing here, and of course it's our contact us intent. We can see all 3 metrics for this intent have increased really well, and clarity is seeing quite a massive improvement there. Going over to the right, we can see any indirect or unknown changes, and we can see some positive changes to some intent. We can also see some negative changes here, and we can look further into these shortly. But just a note to say that as you make improvements to your model, you may also see some regressions to intent scores along the way. But this is an iterative process, and these regressions will gradually be fixed as you work your way through the model. Right, let's go to our contact us intent. In the pinned area, we can see that both questions are now correct and have both good confidence and good clarity. On the correctness distribution graph, we can see the questions we pinned are now showing in a brighter green, and they're nice and close to the centre of our circle. So this means that they are returning the correct contact us intent and with good confidence. So by reinforcing the concepts of how to get in touch and asking for the email address, we fixed these questions. And we can then move on to fixing the rest of those incorrect questions from this intent and seeing if we can increase the confidence of those low confidence ones. These are the ones that are outside my confidence threshold, showing in green here. And the last thing we need to do is check for those regressed intents. So we'll go back to our overview page and go into the change analysis tab. So this first graph shows there's actually 4 intents that have decreased in correctness. These are shown in red on the graph, and the white dots represent the scores from the previous test. So we can see there's some regressions there. However, we have got a lot of intents whose scores have increased. These are the ones that are shown in green. We look at the list below, we can see the details of the intents that have had changes to their score, and we can see them here. The regressed ones show negative figures, but they're not too concerning. They're not massive regressions. Then if we go onto the confidence graph, we can see that there's some very small regressions in a few intents. And looking at the list, again, we can see the percentage decreases and they are only minor. And the clarity graph shows, again, a few regressions, but they are very minor too. If you do have any serious regression, particularly to correctness scores, I would say a drop of 10% or more. It would be advisable to fix those regressions before moving on to any other problem areas within your model. So to summarise, if you can see from the highlighted words that the model is focusing more on insignificant words rather than keywords within a question, and therefore returning incorrect intents because of the higher frequency of those insignificant words, this is usually a sure sign that a concept within an intent is weak and needs to be reinforced.